What's up, everyone? Welcome on back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day out there wherever you're watching, whether you're watching from Tokyo, Japan, Denver, Colorado, here in Orlando, Florida, or somewhere across the sea, wherever you are. Thank you so much for being here for a special holiday reaction. What is it? Halloween, if you couldn't tell. Today we are going to do a full album listen of this album, Floodland, by Sisters, or the Sisters of Mercy. This album was released, in 1987. This is going to be their second studio album from the band. This particular album has been suggested to me by Flameless Dragon, Saturine Bear, Alexander 3348, Gaz Endo, and Martin Legs. So you guys, thank you so much for the suggestion. Sisters of Mercy, never heard of them. I mean, I've heard of them because of your suggestion, but I've never heard of them before you guys. As far as I know, haven't heard a thing by them, so don't really know what to expect other than they're considered goth rock. So this is kind of the closest to goth rock I can dress up as. For a moment, I considered asking my wife, like, hey, do some like gothy makeup on me. And then I was like, I don't really want to do that. I don't really want makeup on me. So let's go ahead and listen to this album. I hope that you guys are excited to dive on in, to give it a listen in the spirit of Halloween. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's just start this right off with the first track, which seems to be technically two tracks put together, which are going to be Dominion and then Mother Russia. Let's just dive on in. We'll talk about it as we go. Here we go. Love that drum. The bass sensor. Let's turn that up. This makes me want to dance in a dark club. This is good. I like that. Love that dark sound that they have with that very melodic guitar. Great sound they have here. This is really nice. And the nice harmonies in the back. Love how they sway everything. That saxophone? This is like a gothy anthem. This is powerful. Just sing this one.
In the heat of the night.
I barked it.
In the heat of the day. When I close my eyes, when I look your way, when I meet the fear that lies inside, when I hear you say, in the heat of the moment, say, someday, 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 someday.
It's so catchy. So this is the one that's running. I think we're in for a treat. And there comes the next song, Flood, coming in. We'll let it transition as we go. All right. Settle in, stretch the arms, stretch the legs. We're going to be here for a little bit. That's a fantastic opening track. That was really, did you guys enjoy that? Because I think that like set the tone. That set a very high bar. Love the drum beat there. Just high energy, great movement there. The lead singer here, Andrew Eldridge. Is that his real last name? No, that can't be his real last name. If it is, awesome last name. Enjoy his voice. It obviously is very dark, very gothy, has a little bit of rasp, not too much, but he sounds like he's clawing on the floorboards. And I mean that in a positive way. I don't mean in the bad way, but he doesn't get gravely with his voice, but there is something very sullen about the way he delivers the notes, the way that he speaks out, and I really enjoy that. I also really love the chorus of this track. This is very anthemic, okay? I don't know anything really about goth music too much, to be honest, but this sounds like a goth anthem. It is catchy as all. It's anthemic. I love the harmonies coming behind Andrew as he's singing those female harmonies during the chorus. It marches very well. It chants very well. It just has a great power, has a great energy. I love the big synth end/or guitar that comes in as well through that chorus, while during the verse, it's a little bit more laid back and melodic, so just great power once again withheld there. There's some saxophone, it sounds like, in there, even though when I'm looking at the personnel, no one is credited with saxophone, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a synth that's emulating a saxophone-like sound, but it sounded pretty saxy to me, so I'm still going to lean towards it being a saxophone, even though I don't have any proof of that beyond what I just heard. But one wonderful addition that was, as it brought a little bit of a noir kind of vibe into the music. And then even when it changes from Dominion into Mother Russia, it's not like the music really changed. It simplified a little bit, but not really that much. And then it was just pretty much another verse and chorus that was added on. The chorus this time, instead of being the Dominion that was being repeated, now it was just Mother Russia. So I kind of like that, how it was 2 tracks put together in one, but there was an actual cohesiveness to it. It wasn't like they took, peanut butter and jelly. Well, those things actually work together. It wasn't like they took peanut butter and honey. Well, those 2 things go together. It's not like they took water and wine and smashed it together, or water and oil. I don't know what I'm thinking, but you know what I mean? Like, it actually made sense. It was cohesive, it was contextual, and it made really great sense in there. That's a great opening track to the album. Gotta say, setting a high mark. It says that this song peaked at number 7 on the Irish singles charts, and number 13 on the UK singles chart, and 30 on the Billboard Dance Club Songs. Okay, this only peaked at number 30 on the dance song charts. To me, I would love to know what was 1 through 29. Because this is intensely dancey to me. Like I said, put me in a goth rave. This is the opening of Blade. Basically, it says that for this particular track, Eldritch had revealed that the song disguises an anti-American diatribe flavored by the Chernobyl natural or nuclear disaster. Definitely not natural. At the time of release, he also claimed that the second part of the song, Mother Russia, was a call for the West to give up Berlin to the Soviets. Because in reality, they already had control of the city. It's only stupid to pretend otherwise. And then it says that I guess I should actually look at the lyrics. I should have looked at the lyrics and tried to come up with my own interpretation before I actually read it. Looking at Dominion. In the heat of the night, in the heat of the day, when I close my eyes, when I look your way, when I meet the fear that lies inside, when I hear you say in the heat of the moment, someday, Dominion, come a time, someday, Dominion, some say prayers, I say mine. See, I would have never at all gotten what he was referencing there in the actual lyrics there. In the light of the fact, on the lone and level, sand stretched far away. In the heat of the action, in the settled dust, hold sway. In the meeting of mind, down in the streets of shame. In the bedding of names, on gold to rust. In the land of the blind, be king, king, king. Is he saying basically, you can't control everything in life, but you can have dominion over your own self and in a way your own realm. So be king where you can and within. Maybe. Like I said, I would have not even guessed that. And with the Mother Russia section in the second half, even as I was listening to the song, I have no idea what they're about. So I'm just going to defer back to what we just read straight from Mr. Eldritch there on what the song is about there, because I would have had no idea. Let's go ahead and move on, like I said, from that really high mark into the next track. Let me pull it up here, which is going to be Flood 1. We're going to go ahead and let it lead from Mother Russia. Just take a few seconds here and let it transition into it. Let's go. How energetic is that? That is fun, dark, tasty, satisfying. Big drum.
Like the ocean.
Big snare. Padded with something else. Oh yeah. That snare is layered with something else. that fill, how the synth enters right after it as well. It has a little bit of a jump scare factor too. That's heavy. And that pulsing synth is so nice to keep a rhythm here.
In terms of surrender, on a backcloth of lashes and eyes, in the flood of your tears.
His voice gets so low and so deep. I like to intermittently place toms with those effects. Ooh, that's kind of nice, that melody on the side. That's really nice there. I love when it comes back around, it just sweeps you up. Rise, then drop back down with the melody. And it's leading into Lucretia My Love. Okay, let's talk about Flood 1. Is there a Flood 2, by the way? I guess Just out of curiosity, okay, there is a flood too. Okay, you never know. Sometimes you might get a part one, you don't get a part two. All right, we're 2 for 2. 2 for 2. This is wonderful stuff here. So first thing, rhythmically, I really like the drum sound. I love that big layered sound. It's like there's 2 or 3 layers on, for example, just the snare and the toms that you get it through there. Like there's that big 80s electronic sound, and I like how they layered different sounds upon that. Because I'm just seeing here that there actually is no drummer on the album. It's just a drum machine, which they've appropriately named Dr. Avalanche, which I think is kind of funny. And that's still going to be handled by Andrew there. So I like the beats. I like the drop in and outs of the snares to give it that constant beats, or taking out certain moments in there just to like change it up a little bit. That shows nice creativity and giving the music different moments to kind of relish in. So rhythmically, I really like that. Of course, the synth pulsy bass that's going along, and the rise of notes, the exiting of notes, the lowering of it all, along with the melody from that main bam, bam, bam. Like that all just sounds absolutely wonderful. Here, Andrew is singing a lot lower in a lot of the ways. He's as he describes, I mean, down in the ashes on this one. He's in his sackcloth. He is lowered. He is humbled. And I think that his voice is so appropriate here. Now, I don't know, obviously, I almost said I don't know a ton, but I don't even know a pound about Andrew. I don't know if he has like a bigger range or a wider range, but for a song like this, it doesn't matter. He adds a new tone into the music. I think sometimes we focus too much on vocal capabilities in the traditional ways that we're expected, and we understand, you know? Sometimes the voice is just another instrument in the music. It's just another layer of sound in the music to push whatever emotion or creative length or, you know, bounds they're trying to push the band. I always use this example, but with like death metal or any sort of harder metal where growls and shrieks and stuff are being used. It's not so much, even though I love that sound, it's more for that primal, aggressive sound to just push that music that much further beyond a distorted guitar or whatever you may have. So even in the same sense here with Sisters of Mercy and with Andrew singing, I like the tone of his voice in the first place, but I feel like his tone just lends itself to this type of scenery and to this type of surrounding. And it just works so well. For as low in the mix as his voice is, it does feel like just an atmospheric layer of fog sitting above the land, you know? I think that sounds fantastic. Like I said, this one takes on a little bit more of a, to me, it takes on a little bit more of a slow party. This is after the anthemic party fiesta we had in the first track. This kind of keeps that beat going, keeps some people on the dance floor, but some of you can also kind of go to the bar and chat away with your friends over there, you know? I think this is just a wonderful second track here. This is some really good stuff so far. Let's get into the lyrics here before we actually look at the information. I don't want to mess it up like the previous track. And her hallway moves like the ocean moves, at the head of the river, at the source of the sea. Sitting here now in this bar for hours, trying to write it down, fitting in hard with harder to come, trying to fight it. Down the river, there's a ship will carry you. Downriver, downstream. Down the river, there's a ship will carry the dream of the flood. Down the river, there's a ship that will carry the dream of the flood, or the flood. Push the glass, stain the glass, push the rider to the wall. It may come, but it will pass. Some say we will fall. Dream of the flood. So, not sure what this is about just yet. Because I don't know if it's kind of to be taken literally when he's talking about sitting at the bar. I'm not sure. Or, and this is just me, flood reminds me of like the flood, Noah's Ark and that kind of thing. So he could be talking in some way like this flood down the hallway, so to speak, is this oncoming disaster of biblical proportions. Or when he talks about a ship waiting to carry them down the river and down the flood, a ship to carry them across the sea. It just, anytime I think of boats carrying someone from one place to another, I go straight to the underworld. I go straight to Sharon and, you know, taking souls to the underworld. So maybe it's a little bit of both in that regard. Or maybe it's none of the above. Sitting here now in this bar for hours while the strange men rent strange flowers. I'll be picking up your petals in another few hours. In the metal and blood, in the scent of mascara, on a backcloth of lashes and stars, in a flood of your tears, in sackcloth and ashes in the second-hand passion, and stolen guitars. So maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe he's saying like okay, let's picture the bar scene. He's in a bar, perhaps he's looking for someone, and he's saying like he watches all these different men approach this person and they're all rejected, and he's going to be there to pick up the petals. Like he says, picking up your petals in another few hours, secondhand passion. So like, I think that might be, I don't know. How would I know? Let's see if there's any information on this particular track here. Give me a moment to, this is a big Wikipedia article. This one's a big one. Let me see if I can find anything on this one. And if I just type in Control F with Floodland, or with Flood, it kind of highlights a lot of this article. It says that Flood 1 and Flood 2 both, whoops, I just clicked the wrong button, both use the word flood as a metaphor for sex. Okay. Eldridge felt that a flood could be something stimulating, adding, most people only get wet under certain circumstances. Like when you jump in a pool. That's what he's talking about, right? I think that's what he's talking about. So, okay, well, there you go. Well, okay, the hallway and the rush. Okay. Gotcha. Understood. Let's move on to the next track here, which it was transitioning into. That is going to be Lucretia. Hold on. Lucretia? No, it's TIA. Why can't I say certain words? Lucretia. You know what? We're going to... Nope. No. How to pronounce. I want to know the proper way to say it. Because there was a character in some show and their name was Lucretia. But I don't think that's it. Lucretia? That does... is it? Lucretia? Really? See, Lucretia. That's what I was thinking. But I'm going with Lucretia. Okay, let's just stick with that. Here we go. Transitioning from Flood into Lucretia. Let's do that. I'm probably saying it wrong still. I love the guitar in here, by the way. Just layers of ambience. Slap and bass. And back to the root. See how it captures an emptiness between the drums and the bass? His voice being the only ambience and melody there. And I would assume guitar would come in to fill in the chorus. Synth adjacent. Lucretia. I like how he started so empty. Now filled. kind of losing it there. See, now in this verse, it's just that little lonely synth there. They paused you for a second, and then they brought you right back in. They roped you back in. Oh, he's laughing again, see? He was saying something near the end. I heard him laughing there in the end like he did in the middle, but I don't know. This track gets you, listen, this track gets you back from the bar and it pulls you back onto the dance floor immediately. So I like how this one's set up because in the beginning, like I mentioned during the track, you just have his voice acting as the melody. Besides that, it's the drum and the bass, right? It's empty, for lack of a better word. And I mean, it happens a lot in music and stuff, but you know when the chorus comes in, there's going to be some layers added on. You're going to go from a single layer cake to 5-layer cake at least, right? You heard the synth come in, the guitar come in, filling in that ambience. And then what happens as we move into the second verse and forward? We return to that first verse structure, the sound, except this time, instead of overloading it once again with the chorus, you just have a little lonely synth in there to keep a little through line, a little vein of that melody of the chorus to kind of keep you going. Then it moves straight off into that and just goes from there. I really like the addition of the guitar work, not just like the chugging and all that kind of stuff, but which is light, but more of the ambient to the right or to the left stuff. For example, you hear at least 2 or 3 times the guitar kind of come in, but it's so light, it's so faint that it's just kind of ambient adjacent, if you will, kind of melting into that fog from the rest of the music there, which I think is a nice addition because it adds, once again, layers into the music. You can listen to the song on just a surface level. You can kind of sit here and kind of let your mind sink a little bit deeper into it. This would be a great album so far to like take a night drive to. This is a great night driving album. It has pulse, it has length, it's got everything you need out of it. I hear the roar of a big machine, 2 worlds and in between. Hot metal and methadrine? I hear Empire Down, I hear Empire Down. I hear the roar of a big machine, 2 worlds and in between. Love lost, fire at will, dum-dum bullets and shoot to kill. I hear dive bombers and Empire Down. So obviously this is about the fall of something, whether it could be an empire of sorts, like literally, or it could be a fall of romance, a breakup, if you will. Excuse me. I took a breath too quick. I hear the sons of the city and dispossessed. Get down, get undressed, get pretty, but you and me, we got the kingdom, we got the key. We got the empire now as then. We don't doubt, we don't take direction. Lucretia, that's how we pronounce it in the song, My Reflection, dance the ghost with me. Dance the ghost with me. What could that mean? He says we have the empire now as then, like we've always had this. Then he says, Lucretia, my reflection. So he sees himself in Lucretia. Dance the ghost with me. Like celebrates even in our aftermath in some way. We look hard, we look through, we look hard to see for real. Such things I hear, they don't make sense. I don't see much evidence. I don't feel. The lyrics are definitely harder for me to kind of dive into. I feel like I'm not getting it so well. It says here that the song was written by Andrew for the Sisters of Mercy bassist Patricia Morrison, who, he said, always strikes me as a Lucretia Borgia type person. That's who I was thinking of. With the Borgias from, was it Stars or HBO original? And it featured Jeremy Irons because Lucretia is one of the characters in that show. One of the main characters. I enjoyed that show for what it was. Its lyrics concern the fall of an empire, war, and the consequent destruction of other aspects of life. Okay, so I can kind of see that. I can kind of see that there then. The story of Lucretia was primarily used in Rome as a didactic tale similar to the story of Lucius Quintius Cincinnatus to showcase what the archetypal Roman woman should aspire to be. I have never... That is a cool name. Lucius Quintius Cincinnatus. Oh, that's a mouthful. Let's go ahead and move on to the next track here, which is going to be 1959. Let's go. Some piano to start us off, huh? Nice change.
Which way the wind blows in 1959.
There's some interesting key changes
Which
here.
way the wind blows in 1959. Wild again, for a little child can never kill this queen.
I like that little dip into a higher note there.
And it feels like me today. Tell me, do you feel the same? Yes, I will. Or do you feel like 1959? Like 1959. And the wind blows wild again. And the wind blows wild. Like a little child, like another gun, like homeless restless gnomes, like way beyond the line.
fading out on these two chords. Or one chord, really. So that ends side 1 of the album, 1959. You know what? I like the idea of ending this side on a soliloquy, so to speak, on a piano solo, just him and the piano kind of notes, you know? I like the idea of that. And I overall like the playing on the piano. I didn't care for this track, if I'm being honest, though. I think that it's a little bit too long, and I don't... Here is an example of where I don't care for his voice. I didn't feel like his singing was great here, nor did it feel like a mood here. It was just kind of weak, to be honest. The other tracks, it works so well. His voice fits perfectly. I wouldn't change a thing. Here, it's just... Because it's so isolated with just him and the piano, there's no other accoutrement around him. I'm just kind of like, it's fine. You know, I can see and read the emotion behind it all. I'm not saying it's passionless or anything, but just as a song, I feel like it's missing a little something. And once again, I think this sounds rude, to be honest, and I don't want to go that far. But if it was a different singer, this could have worked a little bit better, in my opinion. It just kind of slogs along on this one, to be honest. Living as an angel in the place that I was born, living on air, living in heaven, giving the lie down the line to the there's my heaven. And I know which way the wind blows in 1959. And the wind blows still, and the wind blows wild again, for a little child that can never kill this clean. This way, and it feels like me today. Tell me, do you feel the same, Isabel? Or do you feel like 1959? So there's two things that we have to figure out on this track. What is the meaning of 1959? And then who is Isabel? Fortunately, Wikipedia exists, and maybe I can figure this out here. So it says, hold on. Let me see if I can figure out something here. Nope, that doesn't help me. Okay, here you go. I got something. So, okay, Eldritch was born in 1959, Eldritch said. My favorite, yeah, I still don't know how this song really arrived. It just sort of got there, and I must say I'm still marveling at it somewhat. It's about innocence and ellipses stuff. The piano on this track was actually put together by Eldritch using a sequencer, and the whole piece was recorded without ever touching a piano key? That's cheating. So, okay, so that makes sense with the 1959 part. But who was Isabel? There's one way to find out. If I click on Andrew's Wikipedia article, and if I Control F Isabel, maybe I can find someone. I did not. I thought maybe like that would either be like a parent, maybe a partner, like someone related, but I don't see anything. So I'm not sure who Isabel is. Maybe, and I'm sure if you guys know, you'll let me know down in the comments. Anyways, it's time to move on into side 2 of the album. So let's go ahead and flip the proverbial record over. We'll give it a listen. That is going to start off with the song, This Corrosion. Let's dive in. Hold on. Dive in. Whoa. That hurt. That was loud. Sorry. I love the chorus, though. The choir. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I gotta turn it back up again. This is a fun industrial sound we got going here. That was really interesting there. That's such a fun sound.
This time told, something that I missed. Give me the turn around.
It's got that swing.
Forgiving dream child, and do you hear me call? Give me the on the long and on the level, still on the floor. Give me the rain. Say dream child, and do you hear me call?
It's kind of like a harpsichord.
Sing this corrosion to me. Hey now, sing this corrosion to me. Hey now, sing this corrosion to me. Hey
Aren't those vocals such a like welcome presence in the music? It is catchy though, you gotta say.
sing this corrosion to me. Hey now, sing this corrosion to me.
That's interesting. The way the choir kind of jumps in like that.
Give me siren shine, do you hear me? Give me siren shine, do you hear me call? Sing, child of right and wrong. Give me things that don't last long. Give me siren child, do you hear me call?
I was welcoming that return. I was waiting for that. You can't just bring something like the choir in the beginning and leave it.
Sing this corrosion to me. Sing this corrosion to me. Sing this corrosion to me.
Clean guitar, sliding on in.
On days like this, in times like these, I feel an animal deep inside. Heels are home on bended knees, living on if and if I tried. Somebody send me, please. Dream wars and I take it to sleep. Out and in, smelling but don't belong. Well, what do you say? To have a word for getting away? Got a song for me.
I love plus the piano or harpsichord, whatever it is, alongside the choir right here. Choir now. This is him now getting it out. Okay, I can easily toss this Corrosion into, right now, one of my top favorites. That's a wonderful one. That is epic. It's so worth its 9-minute runtime. That's fantastic. If you're gonna go 10 minutes, you gotta make it worth it. You can't just make a 10-minute jam and then say like, okay, job's done. I made this really long song. You gotta make it worth it. Make every second count. And I think the band does a great job of making that second count. Okay, picture this with me, I should say. This song would sound great. Live concert, the band playing on stage, but where and what stage? Put them in like a Gothic cathedral, right? Take out the pews, leave out the floor, have everybody come in. This would be a great song. Can you hear this as the end of the show? With that chorus, with the choir there, starting up the track in this really grandiose fashion, really, really banging it out there. And then the music comes in with this industrial, I don't know, goth rock sound, which I really, it's kind of like, it was not divisive, but it was kind of contrasting at first, right? You had that choir building up to something, and then before you know it, it just kind of stops that, splices the industrial sound in, and you're like, oh, that's kind of different. But as the song goes on, as the sound progresses, it all starts to come together, it all starts to melt into one, and then it all makes sense. That was really, really fantastic composition from the band. I really, really love the choir in here. Just like with the first track on the album, I think the choir makes this great sound and just brings a certain kind of dynamic into the music here. So obviously you have the hey, the hey now, now, like that sound, and then of course Andrew filling in with the chorus there. It's just this big, erupting, uproarious moment that just feels so good. And I don't know how long it went on because I didn't time it, I wasn't really paying attention to it, but I'm assuming at least the last 2 minutes of the track are just that chorus, just that repeating over and over again. And within those dimensions, you have the choir, the band, everyone kind of slowly shifting things up, switching things out, so that the chorus doesn't remain stale even as it's repeating in a certain way. But coming back to the choir there, I really enjoyed how at certain moments, like in the third verse or somewhere, you heard the male choirs, the male voices ring out a certain way, which I didn't notice before. It may have happened somewhere beforehand, but... And then later on, you would have all of them join in unison. The female parts were doing, of course, the higher and more, hey, no, like that part. Then you had the male choir going a little lower. It was just this really nice balance that obviously you would have in a choir, but I like the way it's used here. Alongside everything that we heard already before, with the pulsing bass, the guitar riffs that come out. There's a little harpsichord-like notes that are being played in certain moments in here. Really fantastic stuff. And I really like how the chorus comes back in, or the choir comes back in with the words, was it they sing? Or, yeah, sing, sing. I really enjoy that. It brings everything back together from the opening choir into that industrial-led sound. It says that this song was released as a lead single. Okay. Now, was it released as a lead single like at 9 minutes, which I'd be really impressed at? I do see that there's a 4-minute, 30-second version of this track, which I can definitely understand if that was the one that gained some traction. It says it peaked at number 6 in Ireland, number 7 in the UK, and number 17 in Germany. It says it was written by Eldritch and produced by Jim Steinman, and is one of the band's most well-known songs. It uses a 40-piece choir. That's why it sounds so grandiose. And the LP version of the song lasts nearly 11 minutes. Eldritch's lyrics concern his previous band members leaving the Sisters of Mercy to form the Mission. Is that the same Mission that we listened to of Tower of Strength? I mean, it must be, I'm assuming. Similar sound in some ways. That's kind of interesting. I'm sure in the comments a lot of you guys probably mentioned it. I probably missed it, or I've just forgotten. That's kind of interesting, though. The latter's lead singer, Wayne Hussey, was once a guitarist for the Sisters of Mercy. The lyrics of This Corrosion are a parody of Hussey's style. Let's kind of dive into the lyrics here, then. Also, I want to say that the song title, This Corrosion, is really cool. It just sounds cool. Give me the ring kissed and told, give me something that I missed. A hand to hold, wild and what it seems. Kill the king with love is the law. And then we'll turn around. Give me Dream Child and do you hear me call? On the lone and on the level and still on the floor. Sing Dream Child and do you hear it all? So that line and then the wheel turn around. Assuming that this is like what it said, about the band members that left to form the Mission. A heel turn, a wheel turn, changing direction. A little bit of a sense of betrayal here with kissing the ring. You kiss the ring of like your lord, your king, whatever. And then there's this kind of turnaround and betrayal. Hey, hey, now, sing this corrosion to me, which is repeated throughout. But what I found interesting is if I go down, give me a moment to scroll down here. So the ending chorus, this is when Andrew really kind of like lets loose, because you can feel, now that I know the little backstory behind it, you can really feel the bitterness that he's singing with and ranting with at this particular moment. On the outro, he says, I got nothing to say I ain't said before. I bled all I can, I won't bleed no more. I don't need no one to understand why the blood runs cold in the hired hand. Like he feels like that's all it was. They didn't feel like it was a family, a band, like a unity. Just a hired hand. You're here, you do something, and then you're out, like a session musician almost. On heart, hand of God, floodland and driven apart. Run cold, turn cold, burn, like a healing hand. And this is the part that I thought was really cool. Hey now, sing this corrosion to me. And then the choir says, like a healing hand. Like a healing hand. Like that, right? So it's just that back and forth. Sing this corrosion to me, like a healing hand. So this is what it makes me think of. Sing this corrosion to me, like... Tell me as it is. Corrosion, of course, the breaking down of a material, specifically a metal. It's corroded, it's rusting, it's breaking and giving away. It's broken. So he's saying, sing this corrosion to me, like just tell me how it is. I know that this is happening, this breakup is happening. Just tell me. And then the like a healing hand, like a priest or whatever putting out their hand and healing someone. It's kind of like that. Like he just wants to have this truth imparted to him. Tell me like it is, the hard truth. And it will heal me. I just need to get through this, basically. I need to get through this moment, through this difficulty, and in the end, all will be okay. Will it be forgiven? I don't know, because I don't know the backstory, but it'll at least be okay. Let's go ahead and move ourselves on to the next track here, which is going to be Flood 2. Let me back it up right about here, and we'll let it We'll let it run on into it. Here we go. That's a really good track, though. You know I love the setup already.
And a hallway moves like the ocean moves. And a hallway moves like the sea.
That little solemn.
Like the sea.
That's nice. His voice sounds really nice here. It's a sweet little guitar line. And that little bend.
In a hallway
I like all the callbacks. I love that little guitar that comes through. The bass is really strong here.
in a hallway.
That little melody, I like that a lot. got Flood coming. So in this track, you obviously have to mention and enjoy those callbacks, both musically and lyrically, to Flood 1. I thought that was really nice. But at the same time, of course, changing it up from part 1 just enough. Just enough. And I think that that makes these two pieces sound really cohesive. As a matter of fact, I'm sure if you were to play, well, I don't know, I can't say. I'm sure if you were to play the ending of Flood 1 and then the beginning of Flood 2, they might even just intersect a little bit. They might connect even stronger than you may think. What I notice about Andrew's voice in here is that in a track like this, his voice has a presence. He commands attention in his singing here, especially in the beginning where it's a little bit more empty before the synths and the guitar begin to kick up. When it's just a little bit more empty there, he has a deeper, I don't know if he's a baritone or not. I don't know if he sounds that, I don't know. Something just fell outside. I saw something drop out of my window. I don't know what that was. Hopefully nothing important. Anyways, but he just has this commanding presence in the music in this particular track I noticed. And I was like, see, now that's where I really, really enjoy his voice. Obviously, besides 1959, I've enjoyed him. But like here, it's just, I'm feeling it. I'm really feeling that really nicely here. The little bits of guitar that happen in the pre-chorus, somewhere in the chorus, in there somewhere, that little light melody that just kind of dances along gingerly along this light and shadow moment, I think that that is also a really nice addition in here. As I'm listening to this, I am enjoying the drum machine, but it does make me wish in part that there was like a drummer in here, just because I like it already as it is. I wish that there was a drummer, like, so you could really get down to it, because there's some moments in here that could possibly be some, reaction video of me saying what this, just maybe like elevated a little bit more. But this, that comes off as such a criticism, but I don't mean it as such as all. It's just my mind going forward and kind of thinking. Also, I haven't mentioned her at all, and I do want to mention her in this particular track with Patricia Morrison on the bass and the backing vocals here. And in some of the other tracks as well. You once again can feel that presence of the bass. It really does set up this nice dark and moody rhythm and ambience that you can move to, but you also have a mood to. You know what I mean? There's a darkness to it. There's a seduction in some ways to it, alongside with his voice in some ways. And I think that she does a great job with Andrew in kind of performing and creating this interesting atmosphere and sound that they have here on the album. I think that sounds really cool. Getting back to the lyrics on this one, a lot of repeated lyrics on here that we heard before. And her hallway moves like the ocean moves, and her hallway moves like the sea. She says, no, no, no harm will come your way. She says, bring it on down, bring on the wave. She says, nobody done no harm, grace of God, and raise your arm. She says, face it and its place to stay. This is the way it was, this is the way it is when the water came rushing in. I mean, you can infer. Let's move on. Let's move on into the next track here, which is going to be Driven Like the Snow. Let's go. See how the bass picks up that nice balance of rhythm and mood there? Come on.
Nothing for miles.
the change into this windy kind of synth.
Driven together and given away to the west.
That was fun.
But still the river don't run.
Oh, black.
Looking on till the sun don't shine on. Where the sky meets the ground, where the streets roll around, where the voice you
I really love that little like guitar.
sound.
Such a great addition.
On the river and scuba into the clouds. Live a lot like you. I don't go there now, but I hear the song. Fuck me and marry me young. Some wild-eyed deer on a big white bed. Now you know better than that. I said, like a voice in the wind, go little crystal. Like brittle things will break before they turn. Like lipstick on my cigarette, and the ice get harder overhead. Like think it twice, but never learn. And the mist will wrap
I really like this emptying with that synth.
I'm a crystal if you touch it.
Listening to the bass, you really hear it here. A simple drive, but a drive nonetheless.
Lost in the drift island. And the people that drive. Lost in the drift island. And the cares I've lost in the drift island. Let out, lost in the drift island.
See, with this album, I'm mentioning a lot of the same things, but a lot of the same things stand out to me. A lot of the features are just what make this album like sound so good. Once again, just those seas of ambience, right? Okay, you got the synth and the guitar just putting out this sea of ambience beneath everything. But then, like you've heard before, the little light guitar melody, which could be a very simple melody, it might not be the most intricate thing we've ever heard, but just that little melodic aside just creates a light that kind of shadows through, that kind of Jacob's ladder itself through the shadows, through the clouds, and just reveals something nicer, right? Amongst, of course, the rhythm of the drum machine. And once again, going back to the bass playing here, in that moment that I mentioned during the track where you have that C just kind of placid as it is, the bass isn't doing anything fancy. It's just a few notes. But the placement, the presence that, once again, in this case, the bass commands, it just makes all the difference. And once again, this is definitely a track that, this is the bar track. This is one where a few people will be on the floor, but this is one where you go back to your friends. Now, how will the album end with the next track? That's the question. Will it end in a bang, or will it end in a whisper? So one way to find out, but before we do, let's look at these lyrics here. Still night, nothing for miles, white curtain come down. Kill the lights in the middle of the road and take a look around. It don't help to be one of the chosen, one of the few to be sure. When the wheels are spinning around and the ground is frozen though, or through, and you're driven like the snow. Pure in heart, driven together and given away to the west. A white dress till the river don't run, a black dress looking like mine. So there's this idea of purity, the white dress, and a black dress. not pure. Sullied in some way. Where the sky meet the ground, where the street fold round, where the voice you hold don't make no sound. Look, snow on the river and 2 by 2. Took a lot to live, a lot like you. I don't go there now, but I hear they sung their F me and marry me young. Some wild idea in a big white bed. Now you know better than that, I said. Like a voice in the wind, blow little crystal down. Like riddle things will break before they turn. I don't know exactly what he's talking about. But I think it's like some sort of change from, like I said, the pure, the sacred, the, for lack of a better word, like the virgin, into something that's, at least to this idea, not corrupted, but you know what I mean? Like sullied, like I said, in some way. And the cars lost in the drift are there, and the people that drive lost in the drift are there. And the cares I've lost in the drift are there. Theirs, ours, lost in the drift. So a lot of things are lost in this snow, this storm, whatever that might represent. And I gotta tell you, I have no idea what it represents at all. However, I do know what we're representing, and that is going to be the final track here on the album, which is going to be Neverland. Let's go ahead and take our trip into Neverland, also known as, or has a little parentheses, a fragment. Let's go ahead and let it run. We'll talk about it after. Here we go. Here's that big drum. Layers upon layers. Big layers. Fading out. Oh. There's always that moment you hear the music fading out and you're like, wait, what? It's gonna be a long fade out, huh? So the album ends on a whispery bang. In the sense of course it's big. I mean, obviously the big drum sound that just kickstarts this thing off just with fireworks, which remains throughout. But at the same time, it's definitely not as big or grand as some of the previous tracks we heard. So it's a bang, sound-wise and volume-wise, but not so much otherwise, you know? I think that this was a nice song to end it on, though. I think that big drum really captures a lot of the sound and the ambience in this track, so there's not a lot of room for other things. You have little bits and pieces. I really like that kind of, I don't know what you would say, that tinkling, like whatever sound that is. I think that that's a really cool sound in there. His vocals are definitely like at one of their lowest here. He's just kind of not mumbling, but he's just kind of mumbling on this one, which I think is all the room you really have and need for a track like this. So once again, I think it succeeds from a production point of view and for the album listen as a way of ending this one. I don't think that this track is really, it's not a standout in any way, nor does it really excite as some of the other ones, but I think it's a pleasant closer. I had a face on the mirror, I had a hand on the gun, I had a place in the sun and a ticket to Syria. I had everything within my reach, I had money and stuff, each and every call, too much but never enough, tear it up and watch it fall. So I feel like he's basically saying he's had everything, he has everything that he wants, but at the same time he's not quite truly happy. Maybe. I'm not sure if that's what he means, but that's what I'm getting. It says here on Wikipedia though, or not on Wikipedia, on Genius, I had this vision, you know, in the summer, if you lay on the grass and stare at the sky, you can almost see beyond the stars, but cannot quite get a grip on what's there. Well, sometimes it's very difficult to work out exactly what it is that keeps you pressed between the earth and the sky, and why you don't whoosh off into oblivion. Neverland is coming about this the other way. The entire population of the earth starting to travel from some indefinable point in space toward the earth at increasing speed. It would take an eternity to reach the earth, by which time you'd be reasonably spiritualized, and even when you reach the destination, you wouldn't actually hit the ground. You'd be going so fast you'd just go through and out the other side, when there is another eternity of nothingness. I just tried to write a song about these impressions. He put so much thought and word into so few stanzas there. Like, that's a lot of meaning to insert into the few words that were used in this particular track. But I think that's incredible to do that. To portray, signify, and put out all that meaning in so few words. To be so succinct, you know? Anyways, this was a fun album to listen to. This is definitely fitting for the season. I had a great time. Like I said, it makes me want to go dance at a gothic rave party. It makes me want to, I don't know, it makes me want to go down somewhere. Dress black and just like, that's a fun party kind of album here. Favorite tracks on this one? Corrosion, right? Definitely got to go Corrosion. And then I'd probably go with Flood 1 and Dominion. I think would be my top three if I had to choose. Corrosion at number 1. Let's go Flood 1 at number 2. And then Dominion / Mother Russia at number 3. I feel comfortable with that. Let me know what you guys thought of the album. Thank you for the suggestion and the recommendation for it. I hope that you enjoyed listening to it alongside with me. Of course, if you did, before you leave, hit that like button because why not? You might as well. Subscribe, of course, if you wish. You can also support the channel on Patreon. I hope that you enjoyed your time here. Please come on back tomorrow, and I'll see you all later, guys. Bye.